We have dismantled the prison. Over the last 4 strikes, we have walked through the ruins of the performance. We have looked at the mask you didn't know you were wearing. We have identified the decay, the comparison acid, the validation loop. We have found the silent leak that was draining your energy. We have learned to honor the break. We have gathered the shards of our shattered performance, and we have poured the gold of integrity into the cracks. But now, the question remains, how do we live? How do we walk back into a world that still demands a smile? How do we interact with a society that is still addicted to the fine and the okay? How do we function in a culture that punishes vulnerability and rewards performance? In the Stillness, Smithy. We know that the goal was never to destroy the mask entirely. It was to ensure that the mask no longer owns the man. True strength is not the absence of a public face. It is the integration of the truth beneath it. It is the ability to navigate the world without losing yourself in the performance. To be polite without being fake. To be kind without being empty. In the ancient code of the warrior, there is a virtue called Makoto. It is often translated as sincerity, but its deeper meaning is truth in action. It is the alignment of your inner world with your outer world. It is the state where your words, your thoughts, and your deeds are a single, unified strike. No gap, no performance, no split between who you are and who you pretend to be. When you live with Makoto, the porcelain prison vanishes. You no longer have to remember which version of yourself you are showing to the world. You don't have to code switch between your public face and your private truth. You don't have to maintain different personas for different audiences. You stop performing. You stop calculating. You simply are. Think about the finished blade. It does not try to look sharp. It does not perform sharpness for the spectator. It does not announce its power or justify its existence. It is simply a manifestation of the heat, the hammer, and the quench. Everything it is what it was built to be. There is no pretending. There is no performance. There is only the truth of what it has become. Wholeness is the end of the split. It is the moment you realize that your own, your true sound, is the only music worth playing. It is the moment you stop asking, "What do they want me to be?" and start asking, "Who am I actually becoming?" Most people confuse stillness with weakness. They think that if you aren't shouting, you aren't winning. They think that if you aren't performing, you are being forgotten. They think that silence means you have nothing to say, that calm means you have nothing to offer. But the master smith knows that the most powerful part of the strike is the follow-through. The hammer does not scream when it hits the iron. It does not announce its presence. It simply strikes, with precision, with purpose, with power, and the iron transforms. Quiet strength is the ability to walk through the noise of social media, the pressure of expectations, and the judgment of others, and remain unmoved. It is the ability to know your worth without needing constant validation, to know your truth without needing constant agreement, to know your path without needing constant applause. You have been through the fire. You have faced the cold water of the quench. You have admitted the mask was heavy. You have identified the leak. You have poured the gold into your cracks. You have folded your soul thousands of times through discipline, through showing up when you didn't feel like it, through striking the iron when no one was watching, through choosing truth over performance. You are no longer a fragile piece of porcelain. You are tempered steel, and steel does not need to smile to prove its value. It does not need to perform to prove its strength. It does not need to announce itself to prove its sharpness. It simply is, and that is enough. This concludes our first series, The Porcelain Prison. You have the tools, you have the architecture, you have the gold. You know how to identify the mask. You know how to stop the leak. You know how to honor the break. You know how to live with Makoto, with truth in action. But the forge never truly closes. Mastery is not a destination, it is a refusal to stay cold. The work does not end here. The journey does not stop. You will face new fires, new challenges, new moments where the world will pressure you to put the mask back on. But now, you know the cost. You know the weight. You know the exhaustion of pretending. From this moment on, do not seek to be perfect, seek to be real. Do not seek to be blessed, seek to be forged. Do not seek to be admired from a distance, seek to be respected up close. Do not seek to be a decorative statue, seek to be a functional blade. The world is loud, but your stillness is now unbreakable. You have been tempered, you have been folded, you have been quenched, and now you are ready. Tonight, before you sleep, stand in your own skin. Not the version you perform for others, not the mask you wear to keep the peace, not the character you play to meet expectations. Stand in the truth of who you actually are. Flawed, scarred, broken in places, but whole. Feel the weight of the gold in your cracks. Feel the edge of the steel in your soul. Feel the strength that comes not from perfection, but from survival. One day, time will leave you. Make sure it leaves, knowing you didn't die a decorative ornament. Make sure it leaves, knowing you lived as a real, honest, authentic human being. That you stopped performing and started being. Make sure it leaves, knowing you were a masterpiece of wholeness. This is the end of the Porcelain Prison series, but it is not the end of the forge. The hammer is still in your hand. The fire is still burning. The iron is still waiting. Welcome home to the stillness.